Hello, my name is Ethan and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Heist League 3.12. In this episode, I'm going over the defenses of my carry-on golem build because I get this question a lot. Ethan, I get one shot, help me. There's too many defenses to constantly go over which one people are missing, so I put together a video, a presentation of all of the ones that I could come up with. What did this guy just offer me? Which one is this? Is this the OP one? It better be 12-2, top 2. Wait, he offered for this. Ew. When he could have offered for the 14 currency one. What the heck? Okay, either way, besides all this, good morning, guys. How you guys doing? It's 12. Let's get into the presentation. Pog. I get one shot. Help. Defense in this build. Welcome to another presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed the one from yesterday with the crew gear. We got another one. Let's go. Cap. I put this kind of somewhat in order, okay? I'll talk about importance of stuff as we go, but we'll start it off real basic, the most basic you can go. Cap your elemental resistance. So for new players to the game, you can cap your elemental resistances, fire, cold, and lightning to 75%. So if you have capped resistance, you should assume that you take 25% elemental damage, basically, right? Like imagine there's a total 100% damage of elemental, but you reduced it by 75 because of your resistance, so you only took 25. Okay. So then I like to think of missing 5% of elemental resistance. Well, that 5% missing is equal to 20% more damage. Since if you take like a ratio, it would be, you would take 5% more elemental, like take 5 more elemental damage, but it's in comparison to the 25, not the 100. So it's not 5% more, it's 5% compared to 25, which is 1/5 of 25. So it takes it from 25 to 30, and that increase of damage you're taking, the elemental damage, is actually 20% more of the 25% elemental damage. It's kind of a little bit weird, but it's like working backwards. And instead looking at your thing and what you're taking instead of looking at the total elemental damage. So then I put number 2 on the list. So the first one is capping your resistances to 75 and how important it is and how just missing 5% is taking 20% more damage. And that's 5, dude. Some people are missing more than that, maybe 30. And now they're taking 2 times damage. Because if you took 25 and you took 50% instead, it's twice as much damage, but by only missing 25 res. So elemental weakness making you lose 35% is death. Okay, I also recommend trying to get 3000 armor without flasks. So this is like having a granite flask without flasks. So if you can afford a brass dome 6-link, then that's, if you can't afford a brass dome 6-link, that's what I would go for at the top end, the end game. But it's kind of expensive. It's like 5x just for the brass dome, and then you have to 6-link it. So we found this season that we've never used before, the Wall of Brambles. It's a chest plate that gives 2000 armor, 12 to 20 life, 40% of melee physical damage taken reflected to attacker. And so when you quality it up, it goes up to 24-22 quality. And is a cheap 6-link because of the prophecy upgrade, the King and the Brambles. So you can upgrade the smaller version to Wall of Brambles with the King and the Brambles, and it's cheap. And you can actually upgrade a 6-link version into a 6-link Wall of the Brambles for cheap. I got this at the beginning of the season for cheap. Then people also recommended that you could use Krakian's Carapace. This gives level 20 aspect of the crab, increased armor, 100 to 120 maximum life, 25 to 30 fire and cold res. Bleeding cannot be inflicted, and 5 to maximum number of crab barriers. So it gives you the aspect of the crab too, and if you had... So on the amulet in our build, if you hit mana reserve for pride or you run some extra mana reserve, you could run aspect of the crab, and then this allows you to have more physical damage reduction when you're not frequently hit, which is better for non-delving. It's good for bossing especially, so you can run aspect of the crab, and people are doing this, and then it makes you bleeding immune. So on top of being elemental ailment immune, you can also be bleeding immune, burning ground immune. It's kind of hilarious how many things you could do. But yeah, bleeding immune instead of the brass dome if you want to. It's cheaper. It's an alternative. If you can't get the armor, though, these two are basically required and will make you feel like a god while you don't have the crazy high armor chest plates. This is what we used to do in our builds where we built no armor. We would pop Granite Basalt and be a god. So Granite Flask for 3000 armor, Basalt Flask for the 15% physical damage reduction and 20% of melee physical damage taken reflected to attackers, which is the same as the Wall of Brambles mod. So you can actually get 60% of melee physical damage taken reflected to attacker. During these two flasks, you'll be way tankier if you didn't have the armor or the physical damage reduction. They're two cheap flasks. Highly recommend. They have Tul Spectre. So this is a really high up on the list recommendation. The order that I got this was the third Spectre. So I went 2 Carnage Chieftains, and as the third Spectre, I went They of Tul instead of a Host Chieftain. This Spectre puts down a snow cloak. It's a big circle of snow that swirls like a vortex. The snow cloak provides players and minions 15% damage reduction and 20% chance to dodge and evade. So the 15% damage reduction is completely broken. If you think about Fortify being 25%, this is 15% for free. And then also 20% chance to dodge. It's completely broken for free. The evade doesn't work because we're using unwavering stance. You can't evade attacks. Evade is only for attacks, so it doesn't really matter anyways because most things don't physically attack us. And then we also have so much armor and shit that we're good against normal attacks. Evasion is better for builds that don't build armor and don't want to be attacked. I also recommend capping your chaos resistance. 20% chaos resistance plus will feel great, but when you go against Al-Hezmin, so the green influence where you spawn the chaos damage, if you fight anything with chaos, you're going to feel better with more. If you try to do Blight, you're going to need like 40% chaos res, and the more chaos res, the less life regeneration you need to fight against the chaos. The more armor you have too, the better. So I recommend decent chaos res. Cap is way better, and then AFK Blight is super easy after that because the survivability against the chaos is nothing. Here I have what damage reduction we get from the Animate Guardian to help for the lack of a one-shot. So the Kingmaker provides nearby allies fortify. When you have an Animate Guardian, it's the weapon for the Animate Guardian, and it provides nearby allies 25% damage reduction, so stack that on top of the 15% damage reduction, stack that on top of the 75% damage reduction of elemental resistances, stack that on top of having maybe the no crit from the Brass Dome or the crit kick where you have the extra aspect of the crab for the physical hits. Adds more reduction, so we have 25% damage reduction from the Fortify. Then you can also go on as the chest plate for the Animate Guardian. Before you have the Brass Dome, you can go Garb of the Ephemeral, which causes nearby enemies to not deal extra damage with critical strikes. So obviously an enemy that is far away, attacking with range can still crit. The Fireball can still crit in a Blight. So it's not great. It's great, but it's not perfect. The Brass Dome is perfect. So the effect of the Brass Dome, but only for close monsters. It can also make it so your minions and you can't be action speed slowed, which is like temp chains, but that's not really about not being one shot, so I didn't include it. We're focused on defenses here. So then I talked about endurance charges. Each endurance charge is equal to 4% physical damage reduction and 4% all elemental res. To get 2 endurance charges in my build, I craft a minimum endurance charge on my ring and my amulet. I get this from June, the Immortal Syndicate, unveiling rings and amulets for a suffix. This is a suffix craft. It costs 1 divine orb, and obviously when you have 2 of them, then you'll have 8% physical damage reduction, 8% all res, and you can't get a third one because we're using a profane proxy. So life regeneration, obviously this doesn't help for specific one-shots, but I think it's important to include as a discussion around how this helps our survivability. I have 1022 life regen with 4684 life, so it takes 4.6 seconds to recover my full life from 0 with regeneration. Recovery time is very important for how much damage per second you can basically ignore as long as you aren't one shot. So pretty much in 1 second, if I don't take more than 1000 damage, I took 0 damage. Then it keeps me at full health to stop me from getting one-shotted more often. It's pretty useful, pretty good. And then remember this 1022 life regen. We also can go the wise oak. So to do a wise oak, you have to overcap or equally cap all of your elemental resistances. So what this means is not the number that gets capped in game. So not the 75 on the left. It's talking about the number on the right in these brackets. So I would need to lower cold by 3 and lower lightning by 6, or raise fire by 6 and raise cold by 3, or lower lightning by 3 and raise fire by 3 to get them all 73, 78, 75, 81, whatever. Get them all equal to the same on the right, overcap them the same, and then I can use the wise oaks. Now I'll go back to the wise oak. The wise oak will give 10% reduced elemental damage taken of each element because your elemental resistance is equal on all of them. And so as long basically it's going to take whichever one is the lowest. So in my case, it would do cold. I would get reduced cold damage taken with this flask, but if I make them all equal, then I'll get all of them. It's whichever one's lowest, but if they're all lowest, you get all of them. That's what we're trying to do. Chaos Golem level 22. At level 21, the Chaos Golem gives 4% physical damage reduction, but at level 22, he grants 5% physical damage reduction instead. To get this level 22, it's the +1 intelligence skill gems on the amulet, and a level 21 Chaos Golem gem. The extra 1% physical damage reduction is scaled by all the Golem buff effect in the build to like 8% more physical damage reduction. So one level on the Chaos Golem gets you 8% more physical damage reduction. Primordial Bond. So you can get Primordial Bond on our Cluster Jewel, even though I don't recommend it because it's so expensive. This is going to eventually cost you 10x or 12x for a large cluster just to add Primordial Bond. We can get large clusters with Renewal, Rotting Claws really easily, but getting Primordial Bond, the third one, is way harder. So if you want 2 Primordial Bonds, we get 2% physical damage reduction, 60 life regeneration per, so a total of 4% physical damage reduction and 120 life. So that's... if you compare that to the life regen, 120 of the 1022 is almost 10% more. That's a lot of life regeneration for only 2 skill points, and also 4% physical damage reduction, which is like an endurance charge. I include this on your belt. A Stygian Vice, you can have an Abyss Jewel. So I show here that Taunt and Blind are a thing in the game, so I wrote taunted enemies deal 10% less damage to targets that aren't the source of the taunt. So let's say my minions are taunting, therefore I will take 10% less damage. Again, reducing the one-shot. The Stone Golem taunts naturally, but also you can get an Abyss Jewel with minions have % chance to taunt on hit. So the Stone Golem already taunts. You can get taunt without needing to go an Abyss Jewel, but AoE taunt is better with the Abyss Jewel because all your minions taunt instead of just the stone. Blind, known as Blinded in status icon, is a debuff that lessens the chance to hit of the affected target by 50% and lowers the light radius to the minimum value. So 50% less accuracy. I don't know why. So it's 50% less accuracy and can cause the vision of the enemies to be decreased, reducing the chance they target you. So you can get an Abyss Jewel with minions have a chance to blind on hit. Same thing with the taunt. You can get them together and it uses 1 Abyss Jewel, and then you can see how this also increases the effectiveness of your survivability of the build. If you aren't already using this, you didn't even know about this probably. Yeah, so that's the takeaway. These are all the layers of defense that I could remember to bring up to you guys. If I remember more, I'll make another video, a follow-up to this. I hope this helps you. I hope this can help each and every single one of you know all the layers of defense. If I missed any, leave a comment in the comment section below. If you guys want to add any possibilities, things we could be running to this, then leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you guys for all the support. And thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members today. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!